Alicia. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and I've been tutoring kids your age for the past 15 years. I'm here for the Get Ready for Math 6th grade series, where the topic of today will be ratios. Let's get started. Now, you see this multiplication chart and going, what does multiplication have to do with ratios? Multiplication has a lot to do with ratios, and knowing your facts will help you as we go through this session. What do you mean, know my facts? That means know them through your head. So when I ask the question, what's 6 times 2? You can easily tell me 12. Or when I ask the question, what's 2 times 6? You can easily tell me 12. That's a factor pair. Factor pairs are on the different sides of the chart, that when you split the chart in half like this, you will find it on both sides of the chart. So I said 2 times 6, that gives you 12. 6 times 2, that gives you 12. Each multiple has a twin multiple because you can change the factors. So that can help you learn your times table chart a lot quicker. And the way that it helps you do that is when you split the chart in half, you will find them. Now, the numbers that split the chart in half are called square numbers. Those are the numbers that are the same that you multiply with each other. So 1 times 1, 1. 2 times 2, 4. 3 times 3, 9, so forth and so on. So you remember your times tables because knowing your facts will help you through not only ratios, but algebra, geometry, algebra 2. So the more you know them, the better it is for you in your math career as you continue on past 6th grade. All right, so let's get to the subject at hand, which, like I said, are ratios. There are 3 different ways to write a ratio. In ratios, you're comparing 2 different numbers. So the way you write ratios is you write the number, the word 2, and another number. You write a number, the colon symbol, and another number, or you write it as a fraction, A dash mark B. So when they ask the question, write this ratio in 3 different ways, these are the 3 different ways to write it, using the word 2, using the colon, and using the fraction. Now, let's talk about unit rate. Unit rate is a rate. A rate is a ratio that compares 2 quantities with different units, while a unit rate is a rate that has a 1 as a denominator. So you can compare the same thing 2 different ways. So let's go through this example. 24 pencils cost $1.20. So if you want to find the price per pencil, you would put $1.20 on top, the amount of pencils on the bottom, which is 24, divide by 24. So remember, you're finding the equivalent ratio, but it's the unit rate ratio for the price per pencil. So you have to divide both by 24, and you will find out that for every pencil, it costs 5 cents. So the unit rate is 5 cents per pencil. But let's want to say pencils per dollar. So you would do 24 pencils divided by $1.20. You will divide both the top and the bottom by $1.20 because you're trying to get the denominator, which is the bottom number, to be 1. And you will see that it's 20 pencils per dollar. Okay? So that's talking about unit rate. Let's talk about the difference between ratios and proportions. So ratios, like I said, have 3 different notations. We have the colon, we have the 2, we have the fraction. You can write a ratio talking about the part to part or the part to whole. So going through the first one, yes, there are 7 balls here, but they're asking you what is the ratio of red balls to blue balls. So there are 3 red balls and there are 4 blue balls. So you would write it 3 to 4. Now, let's be clear. You do not write it 4 to 3. Why are we not writing it 4, 2, 3? Because the ratio is asking you ratio of red to blue. It is not asking you ratio of blue to red. So you have to be very clear to answer the specific ratio they are asking about, because 3 to 4 is very different from 4 to 3. The ratio here, red to blue, is 3 to 4. The ratio here is blue to red. So that's part to part. When they talk about part to whole, you're taking a part of the whole question. So ratio of red, which is 3, being compared to the whole, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 3 to 7. Now let's ask the question, what is the ratio of blue to all? Let me give you 5 seconds. Yes, I'm looking at a clock. All right, so hopefully you answered 4 to 7, because there are 4 blue balls. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's 7 balls total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is the ratio of blue to all. And you can easily flip it around and say, what's the ratio of all to red? All to red would be 7 to 3. All to blue, 7 to 4. But again, you have to write the ratio exactly to what they are asking for. So another one part about ratios is equivalent ratios, similar to equivalent fractions if you do it like this. So 2 to 3 is the same as 4 to 6, which is the same as 6 to 9, which is the same as 8 to 12, which is the same as 10 to 15. And the way that we do that is you are multiplying both the top and the bottom by the same rate. So 2 times 2 here, 3 times 2 here. So you get it from here to here. 2 times 3 here, 3 times 3 here. Let's jump to the last one. How do we get from 2 to 10? Where in your time, what 2 times what gets us to 10? 2 times 5 gets us to 10. 3 times 5 gets us to 15. So remember, similar to equivalent fractions, equivalent ratios is what you do to the top, you do to the bottom. What you do to the bottom, you do to the top. They have to be going at the same rate. Okay? Now, ratios are two separate proportions. Sorry about that. Proportions are two separate ratios, and you're trying to find an x. Okay? So, when you're trying to find an x, you have to cross multiply. Okay? So we have 3x on this side, and you're multiplying the 60 and the 5 to get us 300. 3, you cancel out the 3, x equals 100. So when you're finding proportions, you're trying to find a quantity of one of the ratios. And to do that, you have to cross multiply. Okay? So another example of finding a proportion. So this is a to 15 equals 2 to 5. So you set up the two different ratios, 2 to 5, a to 15. You cross multiply. You get 2 times 15 on one side, 5 times a on the other side. You would do the math. So 2 times 5 gives us 30. That's equal to 5a. 30 divided by 5 is equal to 5a. And then you cancel out the 5 on both sides. And then you're left with 6 equals a, or a equals 6. Okay? And then the way you can check that is you would put the 6 here, and you would say, okay, 2 times 3, 5 times 3. They both check out. All right, so let's spend some time doing some examples. So we're going to find the ratio, and then we're going to find the unit rate, okay? So we have 9 bags with 342 cans. So we need to find the amount of cans per bag. So we would have to put what first? The amount of cans for the ratio or the amount of bags for the ratio? Give you a couple of seconds to think about that. Two more seconds. All right, so we would put the amount of cans first. And then the amount of bags second. So that's the ratio, 342 to 9. Now we need to find the unit rate, which means we need to get this 9 down to 1. So let's do the work over here. We have 342, and we need to get the 9. So we need to get it to 1, and we need to get the amount of cans per bag. So you would divide both the bottom and the top by 9. So 342, I'm going to do the long division way. All right, so let's start asking the questions. How many groups of 9 can go into 3? None. How many groups of 9 can go into 34? So that's when we know our times tables. 9 times 1 is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 3 is 27. So we put the 3 up here. 3 times 9, 27. We subtract. 14 minus 7 gives us 7. 2 minus 2, 0. And then we bring down. So then we have to go again. Multiplication. So how many groups of 9 go into 72? 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72. 8. The 8 goes here. 8 times 9, 72. No remainder. So 38 cans per bag gives us the unit rate. Let's do another one. 38 people bought 152 tickets. Okay. So the unit rate is asking you tickets per person. So we look at the amount of tickets, that goes first. And then the amount of people goes second. So the ratio is going to be 152 to 38. Now we need to find the unit rate. Okay, so we set up the proportion, because we were actually doing 2 proportions, 2 ratios when we set up the unit rate. So we have 152 and we're dividing it by 38, and we're setting up the other ratio of how much one person bought from the 152 tickets. That's the unit rate. So we put the X here, and we can cross multiply. So I'm showing you a different way to solve this problem. I did long division the first time, but now I'm using a little bit of algebra. So we then have 38x equals 152. We need to get the x by itself. So we bring the 38 to the other side. And we still have to set up a division problem. Okay? So we're going to ask ourselves the question, how many groups of 38 can we get from 152? Okay, so let's figure that out. I'm going to use, let's use long division. So, how many groups of 38 can go into 1? None. How many groups of 38 can go into 15? None. So then we have to do some serious thinking here. How many groups of 38 can go into 152? So let's go through our times tables real quick. And I'm going to do some skip counting. So we have 38. That's times 1, because it's 38. 38 times 2. It's going to add along. Gives us 76. 38 times 3. Gives us 114. 38 times 4. Gives us 152. So 4 groups of 38 gives us 152. So that makes our unit rate for tickets per person. Okay, let's do, I think we have time to do 2 more. So let's go ahead and do the next one. I'm going to give some little bit of gap time because I want you guys to try to do these on your own. And then I'll help you work through the answers. So let's go together and try by yourself first. Number 3. 2 hours of TV had 40 commercials. 1, that's a lot of commercials. 2, what TV show allowed that? And 3, go ahead and try to tackle this problem. 2 hours of TV had 40 commercials. So it's telling you in the rate part, they want you to find the commercials per hour. So I'm going to give you about 45 seconds to at least set up the problem, and we'll go from there. Another 30 seconds. Another 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's get this problem started. So 2 hours of TV had 40 commercials. So the rate again is commercials per hour. The commercials are here, so we put the 40 first. The amount of hours, we put second. So we figure out that 40 to 2 is the ratio. And then we have to solve the commercials per hour. So we set up the proportion, 40 to 2. We equal it to 1, because that's how we set up the unit rate proportion on that side. And we find the x. We cross multiply. We get 2x equals 40. This is a simple one. We divide by 2. This cancels. You should know that 4 divided by 2 gives you 2. And we just add the 0. So 20 commercials per hour. All right, let's do one more together. And then we'll call this video a wrap. So number 4, we have 84 customers over 6 days. Go ahead and try. I'll give you 45 seconds to work on it. Just remember that with math, practice makes perfect. So do this many times and you'll become a lot better at it. 25 more seconds. So remember, the rate says customers per day. So you have to find the amount of customers, and then we're putting it over what? The amount of days. 10 more seconds. All right, let's get started. So customers per day. So we got to set up the ratio first, which is 84 to 6. Now again, I prefer using the colon to represent my ratios, but you can also write the word to, TO, or you can do it like a fraction. So any of those three ways work as long as you put them down properly. So we have 84 to 6, and now we have to find the unit rate, which is, we set up the proportion, 84 over 6, that's equal to over 1. The x goes on top. We cross multiply. We end up having 6x equals 84. We divide by 6 on both sides. And then we need to get the 84 divided by 6. So again, I'm going to do the long division way. But you can also, if you know how to divide using the box method, go ahead, as long as you get the answer correct. So you ask yourself the question, how many groups of 6 go into 8? 1. 1 times 6 minus 6. 8 minus 6, 2. We bring down the 4. We ask ourselves the question again, how many groups of 6 go into 24? 4. 4 times 6. 24 gives you 0. So 14 customers per day. We're going to do number 5 real quick because it's an easy one, so it shouldn't take us that long to do. So I'll give you guys 30 seconds to do number 5. Set up the ratio, find the unit rate. 20 more seconds. Ten more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so 5 cell phone covers for $30. We're finding dollars per cover. This is the amount of dollars, so that comes first in the ratio. This is the amount of cell phones, so that comes second. So 30 to 5. And then we set up the proportion. We have 30 over 5, and that is equal to x over 1. Cross multiply. Cross multiply. 5x equals 30. You divide by 5. You know your 5 times tables. So you give me an answer of what? I hope a collective unit said 6. So $6 per cover. All right, guys. So we learned today in this video a little bit about ratios and a little bit about proportions. I hope you guys enjoyed. I enjoyed working with you, and I hope that you do a lot more practice because practice makes better. Practice does not make perfect, practice makes better.